Gente, ¿cómo andan? Tanto tiempo. Les cuento que estuve participando en una serie de entrevistas grupales con el señor Marc André. Es de Canadá y tiene un proyecto de entrevistas grupales en donde participan muchos chicos de diferentes países. China, Canadá, Ucrania. A mí me llamaron para representar a Argentina y en general a la habla hispana. Participé en una entrevista con Ringo Starr, el baterista de los Beatles, que para mí los Beatles es una de las mejores bandas. Eh, Justo ahora está cumpliendo año Ringo Starr, así que le mando un abrazo gigante y feliz cumpleaños. Y también le quería decir las gracias a Marc André por dejarme hacer una entrevista con un ídolo mío. Así que nada, los dejo con la entrevista, espero que les guste y que den un like.
We are now going to South America in Argentina. We're going to meet Juanjo, who's a student and aspiring journalist from Buenos Aires.
Y soy argentina. Y déjeme contarle que de chiquito soy muy fan de los Beatles. Así que para mí es un honor máximo poderme estar dirigiendo a ustedes. Y mi pregunta era, ¿qué opina usted sobre la música como herramienta para difundir la paz y la conexión sobre el mundo? Me despido y mando un abrazo grande desde Argentina y Latinoamérica.
Well, music, came into my life pretty early. And I come from, the city of Liverpool in England, and it's very musical because it's a port. And a lot of the lads that lived in the neighborhood were merchant seamen, and they'd go back and bring records back from America and wherever. And anyway, then I got very ill with tuberculosis. I was in hospital, and in those days, they just let you lay in bed for months. And, they'd have teachers come in to pass some of the time away with us. And one of the teachers brought in tambourines and triangles and this little drum. And she pointed to the yellow dot of music, you hit the drum, or the red, you hit the triangle. Anyway, it was very simple. And I knew from that moment on I wanted to be a drummer. It was far out. And guess what happened? I became one. And so anyway, I finished up in hospital. I got out before I was 15. And around about 16, I had to start going to work. And my stepdad, the best stepdad in the world, Harry, he got me a drum, because I was making my own drums with biscuit tins and putting like little bits of metal on for the snare. And so I had this real drum. And within weeks, I was working in a factory then. Within weeks, this guy next door where I lived was in the factory, and my best friend was in this factory. And the guy next door was a great guitarist. Just one of those guys that came naturally. And my friend, we formed a skiffle group, which was an upright bass. It's like a big box, a pole, and just one string, and this guy playing good guitar. So I was playing brushes on the snare, making it up. I hadn't had no lessons. We just went ahead and did it. And that's what started me off to be a musician. I was still working in the factory, and Liverpool was like 1,000 bands in Liverpool in the late 50s. And I was in a couple of other bands. Then I ended up at this band, Rory Storm and the Hurricanes. And we were the biggest band in Liverpool at that time. And we'd go places. We'd go to American bases in France, we'd play. Germany, of course, we'd play. We all went there. And it just became, that's what I do. And we were offered a 3-month gig in Butlin's holiday camp. And I left the factory and became a musician. That's it. And I changed my name, and we played for 3 months at this holiday camp. And though the foreman of the factory said, "You'll be back, Starkey." As I was lucky, I didn't have to go back. And that's what started it. So then I was a professional drummer because that was my job then, and played with a few bands. And then, of course, you know the end of the story. I was asked to join the best band in the land, but it turned out to be the best band in the land after I joined.
Of course, because you brought your magic. And I guess the question was also, how did you realize that music was a great vehicle for peace and connection?
Well, I think it's a great connection because, and music, it captures the heart and soul of people around the world. You know, I just feel it's important. And you did mention that we started this Peace and Love moment on noon on July the 7th, Peace and Love. And now we're in, I think, 28 countries now celebrate Peace and Love. What's great, you know, it is getting bigger. It's so great. And little gangs of people, a lot of people, you know, they're all different sizes, not like an order thing. And how great, you know, that at noon, and you mentioned the guys in outer space. I wonder what time it is really for them.
It's any time you want.
Yeah, we don't know. And so my dream came true. I'm a musician, and I got to play with really good bands, and we became the biggest band in the land. And I'm still doing what I love to do, is play. And this week I'm getting ready because Sunday I go on tour again, you know, with the All Stars. And so I'm still doing it because I just love to play. One thing my mother said, I always feel you're at your happiest, love, when you're playing your drums. How great.
It is wonderful. Music is certainly magical.
Music is great, yeah. You know, yes. This is not the biggest studio in the world. This is my little studio, but I've had a lot of great players here, made a lot of records here, you know, had a lot of fun here.
What's the star behind you? There's a beautiful star behind you.
No, not one of my paintings. Yeah, I did that. I was doing spin art.
Very cool. Spinning the paint.
Yeah. And, you know, it's a little abstract because you just put blobs of paint on the cutout wooden star and then turn the motor on and it spins round, and that's what we got for that one. So I've actually got quite a few of those things.
They're wonderful.
Where it comes from, that's what's great if you're open-minded. Where that came from years ago on the internet, these couple of kids were actually putting paint on a canvas like 10 by 8, say, and strapping it to the house drill, you know, and that was the first time I saw it. I thought, how great, you know, I love the abstract feeling to it too. I mean, I love it when it turns out good like that. That's why I hang it up. And so another thing I do when I'm here, when I'm not playing, I like to paint. And another thing I like to do, I go to the gym.
And that's why you're so in shape.
Yeah, that's something next door. So this is my little living space. I have the studio, I have an art room, and I have the gym. And I'm blessed.